is there any value in knowing what is to come, or is there no way to use the original series? Does it not make sense to pull from that?
That's really interesting.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Patrick, an honor, man. Congratulations on this, and thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Jake. Nice to meet you.
I'm going to jump into this, and this might be a ridiculous question, but as fans of the show, obviously we as an audience know what's to come for these characters, and naturally, where you're at with Dexter, you can't know any of that. But as an actor, is there any value in knowing what is to come, or is there no way to use the original series? Does it not make sense to pull from that?
That's really interesting. It's, yeah, I mean, for me, I spent a lot of time actually kind of looking at Michael in season 1 and kind of studying that. And because it is really useful to know as an actor, especially in an origin story, like where you're going to end up. And then because I knew that we have like quite a lot of material to get through, it was fun to see like, okay, how far from that is Dexter going to be at the beginning of our show? So both as like a reference point and you know, even like in terms of like how he speaks and his physicality, because the cool thing about Dexter is he is like a persona. Like Dexter's facade is, unless you see him in a kill room, is kind of like studied and developed and honed and like refined. And so we get to see Dexter sort of before that's happened. I think in the first episode even, you kind of feel like the lights haven't really turned on for him. He hasn't killed, he's kind of like muted. So it was really useful to go to that. And then yeah, I hope like you'll see as our show progresses, he starts to get a little closer to the Dexter that we know from season 1 of the original.
Well, to your point, you know, I over the course of the original series, Dexter has, this sounds terrible to say, but I love the show, has like some really great kills, like really great, sometimes fun, disturbing moments. I'd love to know, what is the Dexter Morgan kill from the original series you most wish you could have gotten to do yourself?
Oh man, you know, I think I find it really fascinating when he has, you know, no spoilers. I guess if you haven't seen the show, don't listen to this.
I think we've passed the statute of limitations by this point.
Yeah, if you missed it by now, it's on you. But I think honestly, the Brian Moser kill was for me to see him kill somebody in a way where he's just like purely following the code. He knows he has to do it, but it's actually really hard for him, even for a psychopath. You know, when like I think Dexter constantly gets like pushed, his limits get pushed, and to see him like, there's a moment where he like collapses in the corner of that room, and you're like, is he crying? And he's not quite, but like it's not easy for him. And you're watching a psychopath experience something that's like glitching his brain to kill his own flesh and blood, and yet he knows he has to do it. So.
Oh man, dude, I'm loving this interview. I've got to say, I'd love to see you toe to toe with John Lithgow, man.
Ah, man, me too. Me too. He's definitely one of my favorite.
Finale. I think the season 4 finale is one of the greatest finales, not just on the show, in the history of television. That it's one of those like, if you know, you know kind of thing. You know, I love this idea of getting to know a pop culture character who we already think we know by going sort of back to the beginning and kind of getting that backstory. What is another great character in pop culture, someone that you love, that would be really cool maybe if we could go back just a little bit further and get to know them a little better?
Oh my God, that is a good question. That's hard. I feel like, my God, if I knew the answer to that, I should probably like bloody write it and try and while I'm not doing anything. Oh my God, what about you? Do you have? I'm like racking my brain.
You know what's so crazy is that every time I think of one, I go, well, they did it.
They've done it, right? That's the thing. It's like, if it's worth doing, and I think that's really like with this. Genuinely, it was no. I didn't kind of take it lightly, and I wasn't like, when it first came through, I was not like immediately hooked. It took a lot of like reading it and understanding it and seeing who was behind it and stuff to be like, oh, this needs to be made, because, you know, like stuff can't just be made because it's IP and everything like that. And in this day and age,
dude, I do a lot of junkets. I know about that, man.
Yeah. And it's, but this one, like, I realized how much, you know, Dexter picks up in the first season of the original as a fully formed serial killer who's got his code. His dad has already died. Like, there's a lot, and the flashbacks kind of touch on things, but I genuinely think even after one season of it, there's like so much more to be woven into that fabric of his history, and I think that's like a reason to make something.
The shark from Jaws.
The shark from Jaws. Wow.
Was it the shark's first kill?
Oh
Had
my
it been swimming around
God.
for a while? Was it just really hot?
What if he was like, he had like really like he had like a lot of pressure from his shark parents to kill, and he wasn't really into it, but he wanted to impress his shark dad.
Somewhere out there right now, Spielberg like just got a headache going, oh God, someone came up with a terrible idea.
He wakes up in the middle of the night and he's like, ah.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, thanks for being a good sport. Thanks for having fun with me. Congratulations. I really hope we get to talk a lot more about this. So seriously, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
Good to see you, buddy. You too.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.